good vibes. Today's vlog is going to be really short. It was inspired by my man Bo. If you don't know who Bo is, he was in a video where he met Gary Vee. Cody Warner actually recorded everything for him. I'll link the video up here. On Twitter the other day, Bo got on there and he asked me, Brian Vlasich, can you make a video on what realistic optimism means to you? Today, Bo, I'm gonna answer your question. Here we go. In my Twitter description, it says, I'm an entrepreneur who loves to create. I'm a proud dad, husband, and am always realistically optimistic. What realistically optimistic means to me is this. It's always how I choose what my next action is gonna be. It helps me set an expectation without being crushed if something doesn't happen. So here's an example. I did a different video, I'll link it up here, about when I met Steven Tyler. In that moment, I knew, okay, realistically, here's what's gonna happen. He's gonna get in a limo, I might see him for 2 seconds as he walks into that limo, and he'll drive by. That was the realistic scenario. Once I have that realism set in there, I acknowledge that that is probably what's gonna happen. But then there's always the optimistic side. So now my brain goes, okay, if I go back there though and he sees me and he waves, maybe he'll talk to us for a second, maybe he'll do this, maybe he'll do that. But if he didn't do any of that, like if he just drove by, got in a limo, drove by, the realistic side of me like knew that was probably gonna happen. So if my optimism side doesn't happen, I don't feel that like crush. Like a lot of times if you throw all your eggs into that optimism basket, your hopes, your dreams, everything's up here and then it doesn't happen and it just crushes your dreams. It makes you not want to be optimistic anymore. If you're realistic first, if you acknowledge what'll probably happen, here's where I'm kind of at. This is where it'll probably go, but it would be awesome if it went this way too. I'm using a ton of sound effects today. Bo, since you're the one that asked, I'm gonna apply it to your scenario with Gary Vee. You have this idea, you're gonna send out a tweet. Now, you could have just been immediately like, if I send this tweet out, I'm gonna meet Gary Vee. I'm gonna fully meet Gary Vee. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Your brain could start going crazy. If you're only looking at the optimistic side, if you're only like, I'm gonna meet him, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. If Gary wouldn't have said anything to you, you would have been like, what the heck, man? How I would have thought of that scenario is this. The realistic side, if you put that tweet out there, he'd probably heart it, and then he'd probably say, you know, Bo, that is awesome, man, amazing, keep crushing it. That's a pretty cool outcome. But the optimistic side would be like, what if Gary saw that and he used me as an example and he understood what I was trying to do and he brought me to New York and I got to meet him and shake his hand. Now you've set these two scenarios. You're prepared. You're mentally prepared for both of these scenarios. But you just have to know that the realistic one could happen. Like that's probably gonna happen. But never lose faith in the optimistic scenario either. Like you can still have that, but just be satisfied with both outcomes. That's the biggest thing. That's what it means to me. It's a way for me, I've always thought about that, whether it's in high school or whatever. That's how my mind works when I make a decision. It's a quick way for me to analyze and think about outcomes and make the best decision I can make. If somebody comes to me with a scenario and I look at it from the realistic side and it's like, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool. And then I go to my optimism side and I can't, like, if I don't get excited and start coming up with big optimistic ideas, then I know it's probably something I don't want to take action on. It's probably not something that fits. That's it for the vlog today. Bo, I hope that answers your question. A lot going on today, trying to finish out this week strong. Elliot's been a little under the weather, so we've had to kind of pivot some things on that. The continued support of All Human Struggle, I can't tell you, like I will probably say it in every video because I can't tell you how much I appreciate the support and just the stories people are telling me and offering to help and what can I do to make this thing bigger. And there's a lot on the horizon and all the pieces, all the parts are coming together. I know my realistic expectation of it, and I also have this, like, the optimism side of me is going insane right now, so I know it's the right move. Thank you everyone for watching, I appreciate it, and I'll see you tomorrow.